she have the nerve to say because it was a sloped roof, they're not going to have anybody on that roof? Joining me now is Florida Congresswoman Laurel Lee. She's a member of the House Judiciary, Homeland Security, and Administration Committees. Congresswoman, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Nice to see you.
So you were part of that trip to Butler. What have you learned after visiting the actual site where the gunman was?
Well, you heard a couple of the really important things that we learned yesterday. First off, we had a chance to really walk the grounds, inspect the area, see the perimeter, and a couple of things were crystal clear. One, this was not a large area. This is a place that should have been secure, that should have been well within the capability of law enforcement to make sure that it was secure. We saw the roof. All of us had the opportunity to take a look at that roof where this shooter camped out. It was not a steep slope. That is a place, you see right there, members of Congress walking up on that roof. So it's something that clearly they could have handled. The other thing is we had the water tower, other buildings. So this is, our takeaway is that this seems like something that is just a catastrophic failure to communicate, a catastrophic failure to plan and prevent what is clearly an avoidable circumstance down there at the rally. And the other thing we got to do was talk to local law enforcement and people who were there and hear their impressions of that day and what it was like for them being there. And, this has just been a horrible experience, of course, for this local community and the families who were there. So, in Congress, we want to get answers about how something like this could have possibly happened and have some accountability.
Well, you didn't have any answers yesterday, right? I mean, Secret Service Director Cheatle appeared before the committee. Your committee, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle called on her to resign. Watch this.
Were you guessing or lying when you said you didn't turn down requests from President Trump's detail?
Neither, sir, and I appreciate the question.
You're prepared to fire the people on the ground who made poor decisions that day?
I'm prepared to take the actions necessary.
No, that's nonsense.
The lack of answers and the lack of report is just simply not something that we can accept here.
Because Donald Trump is alive, and thank God he is, you look incompetent. If Donald Trump had been killed, you would have looked culpable.
You need to resign.
You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
You should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos.
The House Homeland Security Committee will hold a hearing on the assassination attempt today. FBI Director Christopher Wray, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle all ducking out of that hearing. They have declined to testify. But we will hear from Pennsylvania State Police Commander and the National President of the Fraternal Order of Police. Congresswoman, how is it possible that these three could say, well, I'm not coming? We just had a former president shot, the bullet grazing his ear, and a man is dead. How do these three decide I'm not going to go to that hearing and that's the final word and they get away with it?
Well, they won't, because they absolutely need to come and explain to Congress the very things that we're referring to here. When were these requests from the Trump campaign made? Why were they denied? Why was the president allowed to get up on that stage that day when it was apparently known to law enforcement in the area that there was a suspicious person? So, they will not, they may not be here this week, but we will not rest until we get the people who ultimately are responsible, because, it is not adequate to say, well, we were there, but we partnered with local law enforcement. The ultimate responsibility for security of President Trump lies with Secret Service. And of course, Director Wray and the FBI are going to be taking the lead on the investigation of the criminal case, which is the other reason why any criminal investigation, as a former federal prosecutor, I can tell you, begins with gathering the facts and data. And so far, we're getting none of that from our federal law enforcement partners, particularly the Secret Service yesterday. That testimony was an absolute disaster. She did not give any of the basic facts about how this was set up, the protocol, the partnership, who was responsible, how this could have happened. All of those basic questions are the things that we need to start with so that we can, again, get to the bottom of what happened and make sure that it doesn't happen agat.
Well, look, we've been hearing reports that DHS is getting involved. They're trying to stop questioning of Cheatle. They're not forthright in terms of responses. Have you heard any of that? You're on the committee.
Well, we can see, first off, that yesterday she was not forthcoming. She obviously knew the purpose of yesterday's hearing and should have been prepared to come and answer all of these questions.
Yeah.
Today, of course, she's not appearing before the Committee on Homeland Security, which has direct oversight responsibility of the Secret Service. So, this is something where it is absolutely their responsibility to be responsive to us, to get these answers, to be here. And we're not going to stop until we get the answers that we need from them.
All right, now we see Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket. We think she's not officially the nominee for the Democrats. She says she's going to earn it and win it, but she's gotten a lot of money in the last 24 hours. Kamala Harris has still not met with current Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens or with former Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz. Despite the record number of illegal crossings since Biden took office, 10 million illegals in the country, Harris became border czar, and she's not done anything about the border. Now we understand that there's a new caravan on its way. Hundreds of migrants reportedly headed to the United States as we speak, hoping to make it to the border, cross into the country before the November election, fearing a Trump victory. Trump slammed Harris on Truth Social. Meanwhile, he writes this: incompetence gave us the worst and most dangerous border anywhere in the world. Congressman, is there anything else you guys can do about the wide open border as now we enter this sort of lame duck period before the election where we're worried about new national security concerns?
Well, this is such an important point to remember, that it was back in 2021 that President Biden asked Kamala Harris to take the lead on border security in America. And she has been an absolute failure. She failed to communicate and work with leadership at Border Patrol. She brought us a discussion of what she referred to as root causes. So rather than enforcing our laws, what she did was advocate for and allow these catastrophically terrible policies of the Biden administration that have led to the untold millions of people pouring across our border. And of course, yes, now we see yet another caravan trying to get across our border because they anticipate, just like Americans anticipate, that we are headed into an administration of President Trump, who can and will secure the border as he did before. So they know that an era of law is coming and an era of legal-only immigration is coming. And so what can we do right now? We'll continue to do what House Republicans have been working on now throughout this administration, making sure that the American people understand what's happening, making sure that they hold Kamala Harris and Joe Biden accountable for this failure at the southern border, and that they make their voices heard in November.
Well, it's unbelievable that you hear Kamala Harris yesterday, trying to sell herself, saying, do you want a world where there's a rule of law or not? I'm thinking, rule of law, there has been none under this administration, from student loan debt forgiveness to stealing in grocery stores and getting away with it. Congressman, we've got a spotlight on it all. Thank you so much. Laurel Lee joining us this morning. Thank you.